The collapse of cryptocurrency exchange FTX has rattled the crypto world and set off a scramble to find billions of missing dollars.
What is happening now is what happened and destroyed the spirit of the original web. This is absolutely a do or die moment.
You call it the Wild West. That's really an understatement, Akiko. It's Walking Dead like anarchy. There's no regulatory oversight, no consumer protections, no licensure, no insurance, no net capital, no transparency, no sunlight. We have no idea what's going on inside of these entities. This is worse than Theranos. This is worse than Madoff. If what I'm reading is true.
What's going to happen now is there won't be another situation like this for institutional investors ever again. We're simply not going to put capital to work until this stuff gets regulated.
Now, if you told me you owned all of the Bitcoin in the world, and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it.
Sam Bankman-Fried was the crypto's golden boy and was supposed to be its future. Instead, he may have robbed crypto of its promising and exciting future. In this video, let's see how the collapse of FTX has dealt a catastrophic blow to crypto's reputation and aspirations, and how the industry might evolve from this disaster, if it does. Bitcoin has a terrible reputation. The decentralized digital cryptocurrency is notorious for the wild fluctuations in its value. For instance, Bitcoin fell by 70%, and other popular cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Dogecoin fell by 90% since their peak in November 2021. Bitcoin also has a shady reputation because it is the favorite currency of criminals and degenerates who engage in illegal activities like extortion, buying illicit drugs, child pornography, and hiring hitmen in the online bazaars of the darknet. All this before even talking about the number of scam artists promoting dubious cryptocurrencies and the millions of dollars that were stolen after hackers found a bug in some code.
What's up, Bitcoin? The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No. Bitcoin!
Then comes Sam Bankman-Fried, a 30-year-old guy whose parents are Stanford Law School professors, like a white knight. He went to MIT to study physics and then made $30 billion, supposedly with the sole aim of giving it away for the good of the world. He already started pouring money into effective altruist causes. So here was a financial genius with a perfectly respectable background and an admirable purpose in life. Among all the politicians and regulators in Washington, DC, whom he met regularly to make political donations and shape crypto regulations, he was the golden boy and a highly respectable ambassador of the crypto industry. He was testifying to the Congress and stopping them from regulating the crypto industry out of existence. Until a fortnight ago, he was a godsend for the crypto industry to save its reputation. But then FTX collapsed and left plenty of people with egg on their face. It embarrassed highly regarded investors, made fools of politicians and YouTubers who endorsed them, and left plenty of celebrities with a lawsuit for conspiring to defraud innocent investors. Today, there is nothing left but 1 million furious creditors, dozens of shaky crypto firms, and a proliferation of regulatory and criminal probes. The high-speed implosion of FTX has dealt a catastrophic blow to an industry with a history of failure and scandals. The more that comes out about demise of FTX, the more shocking the tale becomes. I made a more detailed video about the collapse of FTX. Check it out. The scattered crypto community often comes together in online forums like Twitter. This is where people gossip about tokens, organize pump and dump schemes, and occasionally even discuss exciting innovations. It's so bad now that those forums reek of despair, and it looks like they haven't slept for weeks now. Never has crypto looked so criminal, wasteful, and useless. Yes, cryptocurrency prices have fallen by over 70% from almost $70,000 to about $16,000. But that is not the key problem. Asset prices collapse all the time. The share prices of Meta, formerly Facebook, for instance, also fell by 70% year to date. More damaging than prices has been the collapse of crypto institutions. The promise of decentralized finance, or DeFi as it's popularly known, was that it could lead to a better kind of finance, a system that is quicker, cheaper, more transparent, and less reliant on powerful centralized institutions. It was also supposed to bring about a digital economy that is less dominated by a handful of tech giants like the FANG companies do. Crypto advocates often talked about the 2008 financial crisis as a motivation for their work. Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper on 31st October 2008, 16 days after the collapse of Lehman Brothers, and launched the decentralized cryptocurrency in order to bypass conventional centralized financial institutions. Crypto was supposed to be peer-to-peer. The promise was that if you wanted to transfer funds to someone else, you could simply send them a key, which is a number, with no need to trust JP Morgan Bank or Wells Fargo to record the transaction. 14 years later, however, cryptocurrencies have made almost no inroads into the traditional role of money. They are too awkward to use for ordinary transactions, and their values are too unstable. Very few investors even bother to hold their crypto keys themselves. What if they lose them? By, say, putting them on a hard drive and then accidentally throwing the hard drive in a landfill. This actually happened, by the way. Instead, cryptocurrencies are largely purchased through exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, and FTX, which take your money and hold crypto keys in your name. Efficient, decentralized versions of mainstream financial functions, such as currency exchanges and lending, exist, but many consumers feared losing their money and do not trust them. Instead, they use them as virtual casinos to speculate on unstable tokens. These cryptocurrency exchanges rely on the trust of investors and customers to attract billions of dollars, same as conventional financial institutions. But unlike the traditional financial institutions, these institutions do not come with a government guarantee. All that cryptocurrency investors and traders can rely upon is the honesty and genius of visionary founders like Sam Bankman-Fried. So instead of replacing centralized financial institutions and the need for trust, all that the blockchain revolution seems to have done so far is to create a new kind of centralized financial institutions like FTX and Terra that are now collapsing. Terra was an $18 billion so-called stablecoin that collapsed in May 2022. Of course, people will start asking what the point was anyways. Big personalities, incestuous loans, overnight collapses, these are the stuff of classical financial manias. From tulip bulbs in 17th century Holland to the collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008. Why shouldn't they regulate crypto finance industry heavily? And when they do, it's not clear what advantages these firms have over traditional banks and in what form they might survive, if they do.
What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to fly to Washington, and I want regulation.
Unlike the collapse of Lehman Brothers, the spillover effect of FTX, Terra, and maybe Gemini now has been limited. Even those who have invested in FTX like Sequoia, Temasek, and Ontario Teachers Pension Plan have lost money, but not catastrophically. Despite that, the crypto industry needs some reforming to ensure that theft and fraud are minimized. The mainstream financial institutions also need to be insulated from further crypto collapses. To achieve this, it's fair that they force cryptocurrency exchanges to back customer deposits with liquid assets and also disclose if they are making any dubiously collateralized loans to the exchange's own trading arm. Stable coins, which are meant to hold their value in real-world currency, should be regulated as if they are payment instruments at bank. As at the end of any mania, the question now is whether crypto can ever be useful for anything other than scams and speculation. I think there is still a chance, however small, for some lasting and useful innovation to emerge from this rubble. It is worth remembering the technology's underlying potential. Blockchains are a vast network of computers that keep an open, incorruptible common record and update it without the need for a central authority. Blockchains let people who have no particular confidence in each other collaborate without having to go through a neutral central authority. The Economist magazine called it a machine for creating trust. And it is. They can be used to create tamper-proof public databases like land registries. Documents can be notarized by embedding information about them in a public blockchain. and you will no longer need a notary to vouch for them. They can have useful applications even in finance. Conventional banking requires a vast infrastructure to maintain trust between strangers. This is expensive and is often captured by insiders who take a cut. And since public blockchains, by contrast, are built on an open network of computers, it makes their transactions transparent and, in theory, trustworthy. Interoperable open source functions can be built on top of them, including self-executing smart contracts that are guaranteed to function as written. A system of tokens and rules governing them can collectively offer a clever way to incentivize open source contributors. And arrangements that would be expensive or impractical to enforce in the real world become possible, allowing artists to keep stake in the profits from the resale of their digital works, for instance. Crypto, especially the blockchain technology underlying cryptocurrencies, is a very promising technology. I hope they do not use FTX collapse as an excuse to regulate it out of existence. Nobody can predict which innovation will bear fruit and which will not. It is for this very reason that people should be free to devote their time and money to whatever they want within reason, even if nothing good might ever come out of them. Whether that's fusion power, airships, the metaverse, or crypto. As the virtual economy develops, useful decentralized applications may yet appear, who knows? Also, the underlying blockchain technology continues to improve. An upgrade to Ethereum's blockchain in September 2022 radically reduced its energy consumption, paving the way for it to handle high transaction volumes efficiently. Among the developers who worked on the software pioneering the Ethereum blockchain or those building applications on top of it, the promise of crypto has never seemed greater. In October 2022, at a crypto conference in Colombia, Danny Ray, an Ethereum developer, pleaded with the audience to work on functions and applications other than those related to finance. And that is the direction many are taking. Stani Kulichov, the creator of Aave, a centralized lending protocol, is building a social media platform that would allow people to port their followers from application to application, thus allowing them to quit a platform without losing clout. The Gitcoin platform allows people to vote on grants to be distributed to so-called public goods projects, like open source software. Whatever it is, for crypto to rise again, it must find a valid use that leaves the dodginess behind. Thanks a lot for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. It'll help us with the YouTube algorithm. I'm Sharat Mantravadi.